Doing here is going to do some Connecticut hiking. 36 degrees in January. In a few weeks we'll probably start heading south, and the plan is to go down the East Coast and find places to hike, among other things, of course. But so here we go. Since we're hiking in Connecticut and it's 36 degrees, which isn't too bad and sunny, but I've hiked in worse conditions. But let me show you one of my hiking trips for the colder weather. Is you buy these insoles. I picked them up on Amazon for $13. You can spend $100 on things like this. These are from China, so not too expensive, rather cheap. But what I like about them is you don't charge them. They run off a USB pack. So if you run out of juice, you just swap the USB pack for another one. So I like it because it's an endless supply of heat if you need it. And these wires, nice and long, they run up your legs, so you can keep a USB pack conveniently around your waist. Fanny pack, jacket pocket, something like that. And again, when they get too warm, you unplug them. So keep this USB charger close to you so you can unplug. Or you can unplug them at the feet too, if that's a necessity. You could put these on top of your feet, which I considered, because my concern is they've lasted like a few weeks now, like 12 times. They seem very durable, but if they're not comfortable, they feel a little, but they're a little smaller. I got like 11 size 11 feet, and these are more like a size 7. So my toes are hanging off. I can feel it, and very sensitive to the bottom of my feet. So you can also put these on top of your feet. That way they don't get pounded by the walking on them. You can also put them underneath the insoles. If you put them flat on your feet, you can definitely feel the heat, which might be a good thing for you. In the beginning, that was really cool. But then after a while, I'm thinking, well, you know, I don't want my feet to get hot and cold. I want them to stay sort of lukewarm. So what I like to do with these is sort of put them on 1/4 the time, I'll say. If it's 0 degrees, you might say half the time. So if you're doing traveling or just hiking around town, it's always a good idea to get some healthy food, especially if you're traveling cross country or something like that. So Cumberland Farms has this great salad. It's very spicy. Well, for some people, it's a little spicy, so I love it. That's the barbecue chicken, and that's the spicy part. So if you don't like the spicy part, you give that to your spouse or someone that likes spice. And it's got beans and corn and some chips and stuff, and the sauce is really delicious. But the bottom line is, if you're doing some cross-country traveling or just some hiking for the day, instead of being stuck with junk food, even those granola bars aren't the best for you, I'll be honest with you. You can buy a salad or something like that, and this will keep for a few days if you don't eat it. Okay, so depending on conditions, you might need heat. So this little buddy heater here works on propane gas along with the stove here. But if you're using propane gas for any reason, whether the stove or the heater, there's a possibility of a fire. So you want a fire extinguisher here. Not the biggest one in the world, but something you can grab to put out a quick fire. And then also, if you're heating or even cooking for prolonged periods of time in an enclosed area, you want a CO2 detector there. Alright, so another thing on the road, in addition to food, I'm a big tea drinker. And a lot of people don't like water. I don't mind drinking water, I love it. But some people need Coke or Sprite or something. Honestly, those types of beverages will kill you in the long term. But if it makes you happy in the short term, go ahead. You only got one life to live. But my thing here is, so I'll bring a mug, and it fits in my car conveniently. So I don't get a huge mug that doesn't fit anywhere. And then I got my bag of green teas and regular teas. And here I got a 9-dairy creamer, although you should also bring some Tylenol PM medicine for those tough nights when you drink too much tea. So that's a good idea. I have heaters that plug into the cigarette lighter. The one I have, I don't recommend. It takes too long. It plugs in, it's a coil, but I don't recommend. I'm looking for something better. So until I find something I like, I won't document that. But there's a ton of them on the internet. You can sort of search for yourself if you're desperate. So as you can see, I'm living out of a minivan. I'm not living yet, but this is the travel vehicle. And to avoid unnecessary hotel stays and other expenses, I do have a pretty much, it's actually 4x4 bed in the back. It's good for 1 or 2 people curling up. If you want to stretch out, what I'll do is I'll have a cooler, and the cooler will expand the bed. This piece actually folds up, and I could put cushions on there. But the cooler gives it like as much room as you want. So you have a cooler and some luggage, like bags and stuff, of clothes or food or whatever, and that can just extend the bed there. If you look a little closer into the van, I got some weird stuff going on here. But what I had here is I built, I call some furniture. So this is like a table, and you can put the grill here and heat some water. Again, beware of flames and stuff. But I'll be quite honest, it's a little safer to be grilling off the floor if other people are around. If it's only you, you can sort of keep track of what's going on. When there's a few people floating around, or friends, or strangers, you want to keep things in safe. So even though the flames only get like 1 inch high, so it's not likely to hurt anything here. So the stove is an okay item for up here, which is pretty much why I built that. And then this thing folds up, and it becomes just a little shelving area where you can put things to get them out of the way. And the little extenders here just fold in, and they disappear. So now we have all the space we had before, but we have access to the built-in cargo space. But we also have space up there, and we could put whatever we want up there. On the other side, I'm in the process. Again, you can bring a game or two. Don't bring too much because you want to. Cards are actually the best because they're so small. But here I'm trying to put together sort of a, I'll call it dresser. And the concept here is there'll be doors covering these up, and we could put underwear, socks, all that stuff there. In this area here, you can actually hang clothes. So you always have those, you know, suit or a nice dress or blouse or shirt or pants that you don't want to fold up or have floating around. So I took the spare tire out. It's under the bed. There's plenty of room under the bed, but it's not too accessible. So how often do you get a spare? Not too often. So, but if you like, you can see under the bed here, we do have quite a bit of space, including spare tires. And since I ripped out the back seat, that goes down about 2 feet. And then there's space under here too. Okay, so this isn't finished yet, so I have to show you the finished product. This crowbar is just here to sort of keep it from falling. It's sort of in a design mode, I call it. But, so that's wasted space as far as I'm concerned. So it's out of the way, and now I got, you know, a small dresser and closet. Okay. Yes, we're just in a minivan, nothing special here. Nice sunroof. And we do have the built-in TV for those boring times. Although, I don't think you really need a TV because any laptop with a CD-ROM, or you can stream stuff down to a flash drive and watch plenty of movies. So if you think if you're a big TV buff and you don't have one of these entertainment centers, just spend a little time, buy an expensive hard drive, and you could download 50 to 100 movies easy and play them back anytime you want on your laptop. But I do recommend a laptop because, I don't know, I'm a computer professional, but my laptop gives me enough screen space to check out and explore things, where the phone is very good, does lots of handy stuff, but not as convenient. And, you know, if you're bored, stop at Starbucks or Walmart or well, lots of places you can sit down, even McDonald's, and hop on the internet and watch a movie there if you like. So another thing I recommend if you're traveling and your car doesn't already have something called a converter, or inverter actually, I apologize. Alright, so if you're traveling cross country or anywhere, just hiking around, a recommendation I have, if your car doesn't have one built in, something called a power inverter. Basically it takes your 12 volt DC power and converts it to AC. So all the things you have at home, I don't know, razors that plug in into your bathroom, laptops that need charging, there's a handful of stuff. I could list lots of things that I use this for. But this simply clips onto your battery terminals, and I keep it separate because I rigged it up in a private van. I had it available all the time. But again, if other people are around and they plug something in to this inverter, a bunch of stuff like hair dryers and stuff. Two things. One is sometimes that amount will kill the battery and they're not aware of that. So I need to be monitoring this. And also there's fuses. I have extra fuses up here taped in, but many times people, like not asking, will plug a hair dryer into this thinking they can dry their hair, and they pop the fuse. So I have extras for that. So again, it's sort of one of these things that, you know, you have to understand how it works. Don't abuse it. You can't run an air conditioner off this thing. And my recommendation is to be safe, keep the car running if you're using this, or better yet, you have a second battery. But if you have a second battery, you got to make sure that battery gets recharged after use. But that's just some information. Here's a better picture of my van renovations. I got a hitch here, and I'll show you some stuff I can use with the hitch. All right, and the last headache with cold weather is cold hands. I'm not going to recommend these, but they worked so far. What to do is they got battery packs, and you can use those little things that you buy for like maybe $1. You can squeeze them and they work for 8 hours. That might work as well. I have those and I always forget to use them, and by the time my hands are cold, I'm out somewhere. For some reason, I don't know, I bought this. These little battery packs charge at home. Again, the headache is you got to charge them ahead of time. Again, if you got the AC converter I just talked about, you can use that to charge when you're on the road. And then they plug into a little slot here, and then as needed, you simply press the button, hold it for a minute, and it turns on. And it does do a decent job. I haven't been out in frigid cold. I went skiing and my hands got cold. It was 0-degree weather, cross-country skiing. My hands got cold, so I said, well, I need something, because I bought the shoes and they worked great. The insoles that I showed you on another clip work very well. So I'm experimenting with other types. Okay, just a little heads up. Obviously, if you're hiking with pets and stuff, make sure you clean up after them. And everyone knows if you do any fishing or do put anything in the water, make sure you clean it before you move on to the next water body. So as a kayaker, if I go kayaking in a stream, I need to go home and wash the kayak off, because there's algae or something that might be in one stream and not in another lake or something. Here we have a sign that says state-owned property, hunting permitted. So that's why I'm wearing an orange hat. So wear something that makes you not look like an animal. If you think you're cool wearing camouflage, everything, that's fine. Hunters do that, but granted, they got a gun and they've been out here longer. If you're new to this, stand out. If you don't want to kill a deer, be as bright as you can. And at this point, I think the hunting season's closed. This is January. Probably is actually. Usually in the spring, it's, well, I won't get into details. You look it up in your own area. So just a heads up, that's my minivan. It's a Honda Odyssey. I've been driving Dodge Caravans for a long time. I like them too. The Dodge suspension got a little tighter, so this still drives like a Porsche, I'll call it. It's a very smooth ride. It's like a big continental drive. The Caravans were like that until I don't know, 2005, I think. They changed to like a truck suspension. And the SUV, all the SUVs are like that. So if you drive an SUV, Dodge is better. Dodge is probably half the price and almost the same quality. So, but I've been driving Dodges all my life, and I'm getting to the point where I have the money, so I spent a little more on this. As you see, I put red tape on top. I like to somehow distinguish my car from other cars without making it too obvious. So you don't need a flag or anything like that, but just that little red tape up there. If I'm in a parking lot and there's like 20 Honda Odysseys, same colors, same year, everything, I don't end up trying to get into the wrong car. Alright, so we're in a neighborhood here, and I know how I got here. So before you start hiking, make sure where you started. What you do is you can bring up the Google Maps on your phone, and you do a screenshot. Typically you hold the power key and the button at the bottom, but look at your own phone. Every phone's different. So I'm going to head out, but before I get lost, which sometimes I do, I'm going to turn on a program called Map This Ride. There's one called Map This Hike. They all do the same thing. They sort of leave breadcrumbs. So as you can see, if you look at the trail here, and this is the beginning of the trail, it doesn't look any different from anything else. So it's not like there's a dirt path here. It's just all dead leaves. And that's the season, late fall. You're going to find that in the beginning here it's going to be cleared. But depending upon the trail you take, it might actually look like the non-trail area. Again, there's always markings. So if you're smart, you can figure out the marking system ahead of time. So that tree has a marking there. It doesn't tell you much other than it's something. But that's a good indication that you're on the trail, because they don't mark anything that's off the trail. Okay, so I'm about a half a mile down the trail, and as you see, it's just a levy trail. It's a great trail here, so if you want to check it out. This is the back entrance. I pointed out that there's a better entrance or off the street entrance, but there's always a back entrance, so it's cool to sort of check that out. What you do is you use your Google Maps and circle the park, and usually like a dead end or somewhere on the outskirts there's other entrances. So it's good to know that there's multiple entrances for different reasons. Alright, so I'm not going to document the whole walk. Obviously, if you're walking, you want to explore this on your own. And the features, as I call them, you'll have to find them for yourself, or you have to talk to someone else, because I'm not going to tell you what's exciting out here. I want you to come out and find it out for yourself. Again, I'm doing this alone today. If you can get some friends to do it with you, that's even better. I know a lot of you homebodies I know a lot of your homebodies have dogs and stuff, and you might walk them around the block on occasion. But I think your dog will be happier, and you will actually, I won't talk about your dog, you'll be happier if you do some of these hikes. And again, if you run into a situation where the terrain's too tough, then you can turn back. This place here, as you can see, is slightly sloped, but it's flat. We're not climbing rocks or anything, and I'll maybe get back to you on if there's any hazards. Okay, so that ends our hiking day. Hope to see you out here someday or somewhere, someplace. Same bat channel or something like that. Oop.